Hello, my name's Gavin. This is Genre Books. It's Tuesday, it's Tag Tuesday, and the tag this week is Books and Art. This tag was created by Daniela at An Uncommon Reader, and I was tagged by both Stuart Griffin and Philip from A Poet Reads to Write. There are not many prompts here, but what we are being asked to do is pair a painting with a book of our choice. Prompt number 1. The painting is Wanderer Above a Sea of Fog by Caspar David Friedrich. The prompt is a book that focuses on or explores solitude. I'm choosing a book where our writer is experiencing solitude. It's Boethius on the Consolations of Philosophy. He wrote this book whilst he was in prison, and like many prisoners experiencing solitude, he spent a lot of time imagining a woman. Unlike a lot of prisoners, the woman he was imagining he made to be the embodiment of philosophy, and he has a dialogue with her. There is a lot in this book about the fleetingness of beauty and wealth. There's a lot about chance and probability, and he cites a lot the concept of the Wheel of Fortune, as anyone who's read A Confederacy of Dunces will attest. It's probably the standout feature. Prompt number 2, Cherubs by Raphael, a book that has supernatural protagonists. Well, I am continuing my read of The 1001 Nights. There are plenty, especially in the early stages here, of supernatural characters turning up. Usually genies, and usually quite angry, grumpy genies. Prompt number 3, Moscow by Vasily Kandinsky. This is a book set in the future, science fiction or dystopian. Plenty of science fiction on the shelves. It did take me a couple of goes to find a science fiction written in our future. Quite a few of them were written in the future from the perspective of the writer, but we're talking about a far-flung crazy future of 1997 or something like that. So the book I've chosen is The Planet Buyer by Cordwainer Smith. Prompt number 4, The Cradle di Berthe Morisot, a book with a special bond between a mother and a daughter. I'm going to go for something a little bit more classical and choose Demeter and Persephone. That's probably the original archetypal mother-daughter story. I probably got something in the myths somewhere which covers it, but I'll go with some poetry for a change. 2nd April is the collection by Edna St. Vincent Millay, and the poem is Prayer to Persephone. Be to her, Persephone, all the things I might not be. Take her head upon your knee, she that was so proud and wild, flippant, arrogant and free. She that had no need of me is a little lonely child, lost in hell. Persephone, take her head upon your knee. Say to her, my dear, it is not so dreadful here. Prompt number 5, The Swing by Renoir, a book that reminds you of your childhood. I'm going to go fantasy. My sort of adolescent reading of fantasy novels from the late 80s and early 90s, and the book I've chosen is Magician by Raymond E. Feist. I remember almost nothing of this book. I do want to read it again one day. I hope it lives up to the rather vague memories. Prompt number 6, American Gothic by Grant Wood a book set in a rural area. I'm going Thomas Hardy for this answer, and I will choose another book I've not read since I was a teenager, Far from the Madding Crowd. I spent a good part of my childhood growing up in the West Country of England, and although many of the places in Thomas Hardy's Wessex world do not strictly exist, many of them can be quite recognisable. Prompt number 7, Self-Portrait of Artemisia Gentileschi, a book with a female protagonist ahead of her time, a pioneer. The book I'm going to choose, no, the protagonist is female, but it's the writer really who is ahead of her time and a pioneer. I'm choosing Margaret Cavendish's The Blazing World, which I read a year or two ago. It's from the mid-17th century and has science fiction, fantastical elements, but is also a philosophical book. She was very much ahead of her time. And prompt number 8 is your own painting, to come up with a painting and a prompt. So I am going to choose one of my favourites, Giorgio de Chirico. It could be almost any one of his paintings, but I'll choose Garmon Panas. I think it's just going to be choose a work of magical realism, because there is something in de Chirico's work that is at the same time absolutely grounded in the real world. There are buildings, statues, passing trains, but something ever so slightly off. And the magical realism work I would choose is Nights at the Circus by Angela Carter. So, there we have it. Thank you to Daniela for creating the tag. Thank you to Stuart and Philip for tagging me. I will tag others below. I'm late to this one, so I will see who may or may not have already done it. But until next time.